Italy is not at the World Cup for the third time in a row. But I want to show you something. Because Italian blood is at this World Cup. It's just wearing the wrong jersey. Argentina, Brazil, the United States, Australia, Uruguay. Every one of these squads has a player with documented Italian ancestry. Some of them are even contacted by the Italian Federation. Some of them could have played for Italy, and some of them were even born in Italy. And Italy is at home watching. Today I'm going to walk you through all of these players, where the family came from, which region, if we have it, and the story behind why they ended up somewhere else. This is what the diaspora actually looks like. The word for this is ORIUNDI. It's an Italian word, and it means someone of an Italian descent born abroad. Italy has used many ORIUNDI on their team before. Camoranesi from Argentina, Jorginho from Brazil, players born in South America who came to play for the Azzurri. It's been part of the game for over a century. The players I'm about to show you went in the other direction. They had the Italian connection and they chose somewhere else, or just stayed put. The first player is a classic, one of the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi for Argentina. And we start here because there's no other place to start. He's one of the greatest soccer players to ever live, and he has Italian blood. His paternal side comes from Recanati in the region of Le Marche in central Italy. The family arrived in Rosario, Argentina in the late 19th century. That alone is a good story, but here's the part that people don't know. His mother's side also comes from the same region. The Cucitini family, his mother's maiden name, comes from San Saverio Marche, which is about 40 kilometers from his paternal side's Recanati. Two families, same region of Italy, and they left completely independently. And they met in Argentina generations later and gave birth to one of the greatest soccer players of all time. San Saverio Marche made him an honorary citizen after finding out that his ancestry traced back to there. The mayor flew to Barcelona and Messi accepted the certificate. He was technically eligible to play for Italy, but Italy never called. The next player is from Argentina as well, and Argentina gets multiple entries because we know they deserve it. And this player is Alexis Mac Allister. You know this name from the 2022 World Cup, and the last name Mac Allister is one of the reasons that people know that he exists, besides being a great player, of course. Because the surname sounds like it belongs to a Scottish farmer, not someone who was on the Argentinian World Cup winning team in 2022. And yes, he has Irish and Scottish roots on his father's side, but on his mother's side, he has Italian roots. His maternal grandmother came from Belmonte del Sannio in the province of Isernia in the region of Molise. Molise, the region that people joke doesn't exist. It does, and it sent a family to Argentina. And their grandson won a World Cup. Mac Allister is one of the hidden Italian descendants in the room, because everybody talks about how his name kind of stands out on the Argentinian roster, but no one mentions his maternal side and their Italian roots. And then another player in Argentina, at just 18 years old, is Franco Mastantuono. He plays for Real Madrid. He's an Argentinian and Italian dual citizen. He holds an Italian passport and he could have played for Italy. But instead he's at this World Cup as the heir to the number 10 shirt with the defending champions, training under the leadership of Messi. Then we move over to Brazil and Gabriel Martinelli, which is clearly somebody from an Italian background. He holds Brazilian-Italian dual citizenship and he has Italian roots through his father, João. And while a specific town of origin has not been documented, the story of many families like his that came to São Paulo has a well-documented story. Between 1876 and 1914, over 1 million Italians immigrated to Brazil. The majority came from Veneto, Treviso, Belluno, Vicenza, Verona, and many of them ended up in the São Paulo state and built entire communities. And Martinelli grew up in this state that has a large Italian footprint. When he was 18, the Italian Federation called his representatives. They wanted him to commit to the Azzurri before Brazil could cap him. He said no. He's a Premier League champion and he's representing Brazil at this year's World Cup while Italy sits at home. And then there's Captain America from the United States, Cristian Pulisic. He plays for AC Milan and he had Sicilian great-grandparents. His paternal grandmother was born in Brooklyn to Italian immigrant parents from Sicily. By Pulisic's own account, she made sure everybody knew that she was Italian. And he has claimed that he is proud to be of Italian descent. When he signed for Milan, he said his grandmother would have been most proud of that move. And that sounds full circle to me. The best American player of his generation has Sicilian blood, plays in Serie A, and is representing the United States on their home turf for this year's World Cup. The next player is from Australia and his name is Cristian Volpato. This story is a little bit different because this one isn't just about where someone's family is from. This is about a choice. Cristian Volpato was born in Sydney. One of his grandfathers, Sergio, came from Fossalunga in the province of Treviso in Veneto. He moved to Rome as a teenager to chase his soccer career. He played on Italy's youth national team. He was waiting for his senior call-up. In 2022, Australia invited him to the World Cup in Qatar. He turned them down. He was holding out for Italy. And then Italy failed to qualify for a third World Cup in a row. And Volpato, the kid from Sydney that spent years holding out for the Azzurri, switched allegiance to Australia just days before the squad deadline. He was immediately selected by the Socceroos. Italy didn't make it, so the kid from Sydney had to make a choice. He also has a teammate named Alessandro Circati, who wasn't waiting for Italy like him because he was already there. Circati was born in Fidenza, in the province of Parma in the region of Emilia-Romagna. His father, Gianfranco, is a former professional footballer who played in the Serie A and Serie B, including for Parma. When Alessandro was 1 year old, his family moved to Perth, Australia. His dad spent time playing for the Perth Glory. Alessandro grew up in Australia, came back to Europe to pursue soccer, and he ended up at Parma, his father's club in his father's city. Italy's youth team called him up next. He made 2 caps. The senior program was the next step, but Australia got there first. And here's the detail that makes this story. There's an anecdote that at the time, Gianluigi Buffon was finishing his career at Parma. Circati went up to him and asked, "What would you do?" Buffon told him, "Forget the pressure. Forget everything else. What do you feel in your heart?" Days later, Circati committed to Australia. Born in Italy and the son of a former Italian professional footballer. Plays in Italy, gets advice from arguably the greatest Italian goalkeeper of all time, and then he chooses Australia. And lastly, just to note, Jacob Italiano is also on the Australian national squad. Born in Perth, of Italian descent. So Italy didn't qualify for this World Cup, but Australia has many of its descendants that will carry the torch. And finally, Uruguay's Facundo Pellistri. There's not much documented about his family history, but he's obviously of an Italian background. And Uruguay has one of the highest rates of Italian heritage in South America. It's approximated that around 40% of the population has Italian heritage. The immigration wave that built Argentina also built Uruguay. So Pellistri will represent Uruguay at this World Cup, along with a long history of Italian Uruguayans that have been on the team. It shouldn't come as a surprise that there's many descendants of Italians playing in the World Cup because 26 million Italians left Italy between 1876 and around 1940. They went to Argentina and Brazil and the United States and Australia and Uruguay, amongst others. They brought their surnames, their dialects, their recipes, their traditions, their children, their love for soccer. And now those children's children are playing at the World Cup, representing their home countries, while Italy sits at home. That's not irony. That's what the diaspora is. The story of Italy didn't stay in Italy. It went everywhere, and it's still going. If this kind of story hits differently for you, if you have the understanding of what it's like to have that Italian heritage and ancestry, but also be proud of your home country, or you use words that your family, grandparents, parents use that you can't find in any dictionary, I made something for you. Italian Diaspora Words, Volume 1. 15 words from the Italian American dialect, where they came from, what they meant, and how they survived. The link is in the description, ebook only. And if you're not subscribed, but you like this type of content, then ORIUNDI is for you. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to see more content like this. Ciao for now, e alla prossima.